What does dreaming about springs mean? Dreaming about springs can symbolize renewal, rejuvenation, and the flow of emotions or creativity in one's life. This should not come as a surprise because water, in whatever form it takes, represents emotions symbolically. So when you see a spring, this indicates a flow of emotions. Now, it may seem pretty straightforward, but please understand that since we're dealing with emotions, there's always a sense of chaos. Emotions ebb and flow, they change in intensity, and the emotions themselves change. Regardless, the general theme behind springs is the need for some sort of renewal and a sense that you are going back to an earlier form with all its sense of possibility, adventure, and newness. This is called rejuvenation. But underlying all of this is the flow or even the cycle of emotions. And as you probably already know, if you want to accept something, at first you have to go through a sense of denial, then there's some anger, and sadness, and bargaining, so on and so forth, until you reach acceptance and the process restarts. The same goes with the flow of emotions. A lot of people think that renewal, rejuvenation, starting fresh, looking at the world with a fresh set of eyes, is a universally and totally positive thing. No. The end product may be positive, but the process involves different emotions. Again, springs represent a flow of emotions. So strong emotions, a lot of them positive, but many of them negative, will come into play. The question is, are you ready? Are you willing to go through that process? Because if you are, this means that you prioritize getting a fresh start. And this can be the break that you need to take your life to the next level. On the other hand, once you realize that there's all these fluctuating emotions that are involved, you might get cold feet because you can desire the good stuff, but you may think twice about putting in the emotional investment to go through the ups and downs. And let's face it, the emotional hell that change sometimes requires of us. So keep this general interpretation in mind as we dig deep into the contextual or nuanced meaning of your spring dreams. For the following, you need to look at other details in your dream. Don't just focus on the fact that your dream is about a spring or a springs. Look past that. What else is going on? What other dream symbols can you remember? What does it mean to dream of a bubbling spring? When you dream of a bubbling brook or a bubbling spring, your subconscious indicates that you will have a surge of creativity or it's already happening now. Whatever the case may be, new ideas are entering your life, and this can be a game changer. Now, a lot of people would look at this dream interpretation and analysis as pointing towards a new financial opportunities. That can definitely be the case. Don't leave that out. That can happen. But a lot of the times, the surge in creativity that springs represent in dreams involve coping mechanisms with your own emotions. In fact, if you're completely honest with yourself, this is the most important kind of creativity to have, because strong emotions happen to all of us. No one's immune to them. And if we keep using the same coping strategy or the same coping mechanisms, we get the same results. So when we see bubbling springs in your dream, your subconscious is telling you that you are coming up with new ideas, with dealing with your emotions, which can lead to new outcomes. Because emotionally you're in a different place, and this could be a good thing. This can open up new opportunities. This can lead you to looking at yourself as a more capable and resilient person, which opens the door again to a new life. So look at creativity not in terms of just this magical spark of genius that everybody's looking for in their startup. No, look at it as emotional creativity, because this has a longer lasting impact on your life as well as the lives of those who love you. What does it mean to dream of a dry spring? This is a very depressing dream, because when you look at the spring and it's all dried and cracked because maybe there's a drought, your subconscious is telling you that you are stagnating. What makes this even more tragic is when people have this dream, they wake up and say, well, I'm happy, I'm content, things are going well, people like me, I have a nice job, I have food, I have money, everything's okay. The problem is you're not seeing what your subconscious is seeing. Your subconscious sees everything. Your waking life is susceptible to self-deception, self-delusion, as well as the ideas of people around you. Remember, ideas and emotions are infectious. So a lot of the times we develop this kind of learned blindness to certain realities in our lives. So it may turn out that you're actually stagnating, but you're the last to know, because you're fully convinced that everything is going well. And that's why when you finally realize how bad things are, the crushing disappointment that will hit you can be numbing. It may be strong enough to make you want to quit. So don't do that. When you see a dry spring in your dream, please look at it as the red flag that it is. Because you're experiencing at some level or other a lack of emotional nourishment. I'm not talking about low levels of emotional nourishment or an imbalance of emotional sustenance. No, a lack, meaning it's not there, it's gone, it's dried up, it's evaporated. And a lot of people refuse to see this because of a sense of denial. They have this idea in their heads that if I don't see it, if I don't perceive it, that it's not real. No, it's still real. It's kind of like an 800-pound elephant in the middle of the room. You can deny it all you want, and you can convince everybody in your house to ignore it just as you are ignoring it, but it doesn't make the reality of that pachyderm go away. It still poops, and you will smell it. It still pees, and you will feel it when you slip on it. It still moves around, it still has tusks and can kill people in that room. No matter how sustained, prolonged, and intense their sense of denial is. The same goes with your emotional reality. It still has negative consequences. So please understand that if you see a dry spring in your dream and it is the central focus of your nighttime vision, sit up and pay attention, because your subconscious is trying to wave a red flag. What does it mean to dream of a crystal clear spring? In this dream, the focus is on the quality of the water from the spring. When you see this, your dream is trying to symbolize or represent clarity and purity in your emotions or thoughts. The minority view of this is that you're already thinking in clear and pure terms. Congratulations. This can be very helpful. In fact, this is the number one superpower that you need to become a great speaker, a great salesperson, a loving partner, an effective person overall. Communication is crucial in all human undertaking. Any human activity, communication is required. But 9 times out of 10, if you have this type of dream, your dream is actually projecting. It's dealing with the opposite. What it's telling you is that you need to level up your emotional communication and the signals and vibrations that you send from your total persona to the rest of the universe. Because your conflicted signals are not doing you any good. In fact, they may be turning people against you. One common version of this is when we talk one way, we expect people to behave one way, we tell people to act a certain way, yet our actions, as well as other areas of our total persona, give us away. You can't expect people to believe you when you tell them Don't dress like whores and prostitutes when you yourself dress like one. It's not like you're wearing a uniform. Do you see how this works? You can't tell people don't steal when you yourself engage in fraud. This is the kind of disconnect, the lack of clear communication that your crystal clear spring dream is trying to draw your attention to. There is some sort of disconnect because you're not living a life of integrity. This is your wake-up call. Now, if you were able to align whatever it is that you speak to the universe with how you behave, you become unstoppable. This is especially true when it comes to matters of faith. Remember, you are the only Bible many people will ever get to read in their lives. So this is a heavy responsibility on you if you call yourself a Christian. The same goes with Islam for Muslims, or Judaism for Jews, or Buddhism for Buddhists. Walk your talk. Even better, be your talk. What does it mean to dream of a polluted spring? Pollution can come in many different places, and the worst form of pollution involves dead things in the water. And if you've ever done any hiking in your life, from time to time you will come across a spring that is polluted by the rotting carcass of a rabbit or some other animal that maybe a predator dropped off or died of natural causes, whatever the case may be. Their disintegrating mass, from the broken down protein of their muscle mass as well as their bones, leak into the water and it becomes polluted. Your subconscious is trying to let you know, when it shows this very strong and pungent imagery, that a lot of issues that you have in the past are polluting your daily life because you can't let go. You're spending all this tremendous mental and emotional processing firepower on stuff that's already happened. You cannot change those facts. You know that deep down inside. No matter how many times you try to change your assumptions about them, you flip them upside down in your head, you change the details, you pan in, you pan out, you zoom in, you zoom out. It doesn't matter. No matter what you do, those facts already happened. That ship has sailed. Move on. That is the bottom line of this dream. Move on. I know it's hard. Maybe you're looking for closure. Maybe you feel that this event that happened in the past has such a traumatic impact on who you are today that you can't move on, but you have to find the strength to move on because you cannot let your past define you. It's dead. The old you is dead. Give your new you a chance to live. Otherwise, you're going to pollute the spring of life flowing through you right now, and your future will be the same as your present, which is the replica of your past. Is that a way to live? Is that the right way to share your light with the universe? You're built for something better, so act accordingly. Thank you for joining us for this video. If you haven't already done so, please click the like button and hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Thanks for joining us. Now let's go back into the dream interpretation. What does it mean to dream of a spring overflowing? This is one of the best dreams you can have, in the sense that you can use the strong surge of emotions that you're going through to bring yourself to a moment of clarity. A lot of the times when we really don't feel a strong surge of emotions, or we experience very little emotional turbulence, we tend to settle into holding patterns emotionally and mentally speaking, and they're not all that healthy. We're settling for stuff that we know is far from perfect, but we're too lazy or too scared to do the heavy lifting to actually take our lives to the next level. So just like that frog in a slowly boiling pot, we stay there until it's too late. Respect yourself enough to not want to settle for this. because you can die tomorrow. You can die at any time. And is this really the kind of life you want to live? Basically, that you just settled for what's there? If you're unhappy in any way, get to the bottom of that unhappiness. If you have unfulfilled wishes or hopes and dreams, get to the bottom of it. Because now is the best time to live your life to the fullest, to live the very best version of yourself, because we're not assured that there will be a tomorrow. So do yourself a big favor. Use this emotional turbulence that you are sensing to push you to where you need to be. What does it mean to dream of bathing in a spring? This is fairly rare nowadays. You have to really be lucky enough to have a spring that is deep enough to have a bath in. But for the most part, when you see this dream, this subconscious yearning in you for a reset button is manifesting itself. Traditionally speaking, this type of dream imagery involves purification and renewal. But it's very easy to get caught up in the rituals of religion, because many religions, while they are rooted in deep, profound, universal truths, are also human institutions. So to reach the widest possible audience and convert such people, a lot of the nuances, a lot of the depth have to be hammered down, straightened, and made shallow. And that's really too bad, because purification, whether it's in the form of baptism or otherwise, incense, indicates letting go of the past, letting go of worries, and allowing yourself to be present so that the energy of whatever it is you're trying to connect to can reconnect you and re-inform you as to its flow. Heavy duty stuff, but very practical, because if you have hit a corner and you were stuck, or you've hit an impasse and you feel like you can't move on, this is precisely the kind of purification and renewal your mind needs, so it can start working towards its best form and its best possible progress. What makes this really tricky is it's one thing to want and desire a reset and find the strength enough to go through the rituals to reset. But it's another thing entirely to actually benefit from that reset, because a ritual can only take you so far. You have to deepen things. You have to actually cleanse yourself emotionally and start fresh. And that can only be done through a customized, personalized, and truly present experience. Meaning you have to fully be there, because when you rely so much on a ritual, a lot of you checks out. You're not fully present, because you are hoping that this ritual that's been done thousands of years will do its magic. So you're like watching a movie and seeing everything played out. You're passive. No. If you want this to have a psycho-emotional reality, you have to be fully present. In fact, you can even dispense with the ritual. Get it out of the way and just focus on yourself. Meditation, writing down your thoughts, listening to yourself, listening to your self-talk. All of these can lead to a deeper and profound understanding of who you are, what makes you tick, and what you need to get rid of to become the person you choose to be. Again, all of these questions can only be answered by one person, and that is you. What does it mean to dream of a hidden spring? Hidden springs are very tricky because they don't look like springs. They look just like another piece of earth covered with grass. Nobody's the wiser. But when there's an earthquake or there's some sort of construction and the surface is broken, guess what comes out? Water. Lots of it. When you dream of a hidden spring, your subconscious is trying to get across the reality that you have certain passive-aggressive tendencies where you suppress your emotions and present another set of emotions. You're basically acting. Your subconscious is telling you that you need to be more truthful to yourself. And because when you reflect your real emotions in a controlled, respectful way, of course, you are not only staying true to yourself, but you're actually attracting true affection, true loyalty, true respect. What's really sad is that a lot of people think that they have a lot of friends, but in reality, their friends have fallen in love with a mask. And they know it deep down inside. The people who wear the mask know it deep down inside, so they feel like a fraud. They can't let go because they like all these people, they like all this respect, they like all this affection, but they can't show their real face because it's all a front. You don't want to put yourself in that situation because you want to build your life on the solid foundation of honesty and authenticity. Now, does this mean that you're always going to call out people and just blurt out or just be offensive as all hell? No. Still have to respect people, just as you want to be respected. Do to them what you want them to do to you. That goes without saying. But if you want to live a truly happy, peaceful, serene life that you can proudly take to the grave with you, live a life of authenticity. There's no need to try to be somebody else. There's no point that needs to be made. Just be yourself. Now, this begs the question, who are you? And again, that's a question that only you can answer. But you know the path now. What does it mean to dream of a spring drying up? Unlike the previous image above that showed a spring that has completely dried, this variation, this contextual analysis focuses on the spring in the process of drying up. This is actually a good dream image to work with because it's still in the process of drying up. You can still do something about it. Please understand that your relationships are two-way relationships. For them to grow, you have to feed them. And the number one nutrient that relationships require is simple attention. And how can you give attention? You give time. They go hand in hand. They're joined at the hip. So just give time to your relationships, at least to the ones that you want to flourish. And when you do this, you learn more about yourself. You learn more about what's holding you back, what issues that you're grappling with, what trust boundaries that you may have, so on and so forth. You learn by doing. And the good news is if they are your real friends, they will work with you. They will support you, encourage you, and you do the same to them, and you both grow together. Otherwise, you start growing apart. And pretty soon, you become acquaintances. Thank you for sharing your time with us for this dream interpretation. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. If you haven't already done so, please click the like button and hit subscribe. Please be sure to click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our updates. If you have any dreams that you'd like us to interpret and analyze, please leave all the details in the comments. No need to leave personally identifiable information. We read every comment, check from time to time to see if the video that analyzed and interpreted your dream details has been posted. To support our mission of helping people from all over the world live their best lives by tapping the power of their dreams, please click the share button and share this video on all your social media accounts. Thank you so much for joining us in this video about springs. We'll see you at the next video.